If you are an immigrant living in the United States right now, I need you to stop whatever you are doing and watch this video, because in the last 48 hours, something happened that is directly affecting your bank account. And most people, most immigrants, most students, most newcomers have no idea what to do about it. I am going to break everything down for you today. Simple, clear, step by step. No confusing legal language, just the real facts you need to protect yourself and your money right now. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you are going to feel a lot better than you do right now, because the truth is much less scary than what you are hearing on social media. But there are things you absolutely must do, and I am going to walk you through all of them. So stay with me. This is one of the most important videos I have made for this community. Let me start with what happened. On May 20th, 2026, just days ago, President Trump signed an executive order. The name of this order is Restoring Integrity to America's Financial System. And when that news broke, millions of immigrants panicked. The headlines were terrifying. People were asking, will my bank close my account? Is my money safe? Should I go take all my cash out right now? I understand that fear. I completely understand it. When you work hard for every single dollar and someone tells you your bank might close your account, of course you are scared. But here is what the news headlines did not clearly explain. Here is what you actually need to know. The original version of this executive order was going to force every bank in America to collect proof of citizenship from every customer. Every single person who walks into a bank would have to prove they are a citizen or legal resident. That was the original plan, and it was terrifying. But guess what happened? The banks themselves fought back. Wall Street, big banks, community lenders, they all told the government this was unworkable. It would cost too much. It would hurt too many people. And so the final version of this executive order, the one that was actually signed, is much less aggressive than what was originally planned. What the signed order actually does is this. It directs the Treasury Secretary to advise banks on the topic of immigrants and banking. It tells regulators to look at how banks verify customers. That is it, for now. No banks have been told to immediately close immigrant accounts. No mass account closures have happened. This is important. Say it with me. No mass closures have happened yet. Now, does that mean everything is fine and you should do nothing? Absolutely not. There are real things you need to do right now to protect yourself, and I'm going to tell you exactly what those things are. But first, breathe. Your account is not being closed today because of this order. Now let me explain something that almost nobody is talking about, and this is actually the most dangerous trap in this whole situation. Some immigrants, when they heard this news, immediately thought, okay, I'm going to go to my bank, take all my cash out, and keep it at home. That way no one can touch it. That feels like the safe move, right? It is actually the worst thing you can do. Here is why. Under American banking law, specifically something called the Bank Secrecy Act, banks are required to report unusual patterns of activity. And here is the thing that will shock you. The White House itself, in announcing this executive order, stated that repetitive cash withdrawals are now flagged as suspicious activity. Think about what that means. If you keep your money in the bank, you have a digital trail. If you take all your cash out suddenly, that is also flagged as suspicious. You are trapped between two things that look bad. This is what experts are calling the catch-22 of this situation. So what is the right answer? The right answer is, do not do anything sudden or dramatic. Do not make large panic withdrawals. Keep your account behaving normally. Sudden, strange behavior is what draws attention. Normal, steady banking does not. I know that is hard to hear when you are scared, but it is the truth. Okay, now let me tell you something even more important. Something that many immigrants do not fully understand. And once you understand this, a lot of the fear goes away. By law, not by tradition, not by preference, by actual federal law, American banks are required to verify your identity. Not your citizenship, your identity. Those are two completely different things. When a bank asks you for documents, they are asking who you are. Your name, your face, your address. They are not asking where you were born or whether you have legal status. That distinction is protected by law. Banks ask for documents to confirm who you are, not where you were born. This means that an ITIN, which stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, is a completely legal and valid way to open a bank account in the United States. The ITIN is issued by the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. It is a tax identification number that anyone can get, regardless of immigration status. It is not an immigration document. It is a tax document. And it is fully accepted at Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, and many other major banks. If you do not have an ITIN yet, I strongly encourage you to apply for one as soon as possible. It takes about 7 to 11 weeks to get, and it opens so many doors for you. Not just banking, but credit cards, loans, and financial services that you cannot access without it. Now let me walk you through exactly what documents you need to open a bank account as an immigrant, because so many people get rejected simply because they walk in with the wrong papers. And that rejection feels personal, but often it is just a documentation issue that is completely fixable. The most important document is your passport. Any valid, unexpired passport from any country is accepted at most major American banks. Bring your passport every time you go to a bank. This is your primary form of identification. Second, you need proof of your address in the United States. This does not have to be complicated. It can be a utility bill, something like an electricity bill or a water bill dated within the last 60 days. It can be a pay stub from your employer. It can be a copy of your lease agreement, the paper you signed when you rented your home or apartment. Some banks will even accept a letter from the person you are staying with if you do not yet have bills in your name. Third, you need either an SSN, a social security number, or an ITIN. Now here is the big misconception that costs immigrants so much time and stress. You do not need a social security number to open a bank account. Many people believe this. It is completely false. An ITIN works just as well at most major banks. And if you have neither yet, some banks, especially Wells Fargo, will open an account for you with just your passport and proof of address. If you are an international student on an F1 or J1 visa, bring your I-20 form or your DS 2019 form as well. Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo all specifically welcome international students, and these school documents make the process much easier. One very practical tip that most people skip: before you go to any branch, call ahead. I know that sounds simple, but it is incredibly important. Call the specific branch you plan to visit and say exactly this: I am an immigrant, and I have a passport and an ITIN. Can I open an account at your branch? Get a yes from a real person before you go. Because here is something that surprises people. Even within the same bank, different branches have different practices. One Chase branch might say yes easily. Another Chase branch might give you trouble. A quick phone call saves you a wasted trip and a lot of frustration. Now, once you have your account open, there is something else I need to warn you about. And this is a problem that costs immigrants hundreds of dollars every year without them even realizing it: hidden fees. American banks are very good at charging fees that are not clearly explained when you open your account. And for immigrants who are new to the system, these fees come as a shock. The most common one is called a monthly maintenance fee. This is a charge, usually between $10 and $15, that the bank takes from your account every single month just for having the account. If you do not know about this, you could lose $180 a year without ever spending that money on anything. It just disappears. Here's the good news. In most cases, this fee can be completely avoided. Most banks will waive, meaning remove, this monthly fee if you set up direct deposit, meaning your paycheck goes directly into your account, or if you keep a minimum balance, like $1,500, in the account at all times. The bank usually does not explain this clearly when you sign up. You have to ask. So ask. Say the words, "How do I avoid the monthly maintenance fee on this account?" Another fee that used to be a very big problem is the overdraft fee. This is what happens when you spend more money than you have in your account. In the past, banks would charge $35 every single time this happened. $35 for one mistake. For some people, this would happen multiple times in a week. Here is an important update for 2026. Most large banks, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, have now capped this fee at $5 to $10 or removed it entirely due to new consumer protection rules. This is genuinely good news. However, and this is important, smaller community banks and some credit unions are not covered by this rule and may still charge the old $35 fee. Always check before you open an account anywhere. One more fee that affects immigrants specifically: international wire transfer fees. If you are sending money home to your family, which many of you are, the big banks charge a lot. Wells Fargo charges $40 just to send an international wire. That is $40 gone before your family receives a single cent. The solution here is simple. Use a dedicated money transfer service instead. Apps like Wise or Remitly charge a fraction of what the banks charge, sometimes just $3 or $4 to send the same amount. This is one of those things nobody tells immigrants, and it saves you real money every single month. Let me talk for a moment about what happens if your bank actually does contact you and ask for additional documents, because this is happening. In 2026, roughly 3 out of 10 immigrant bank clients have received unexpected requests from their bank for more paperwork. If you get one of these letters or calls, here is exactly what you should do. First, do not ignore it. Ignoring a request from your bank can lead to your account being restricted or temporarily frozen. You must respond. Second, do not panic. Remember what I told you earlier. Banks are asking for documents to verify your identity, not your immigration status. They are not ICE. They are not immigration enforcement. They are a business that needs to confirm you are who you say you are. Third, respond with identity documents only. Your passport, your ITIN letter, your proof of address. That is all. You do not need to provide immigration paperwork, visa status details, or anything related to your legal status in the country unless specifically required and you are comfortable doing so. And fourth, if you feel unsure or threatened, contact a legal aid organization or an immigration attorney before responding. Many cities have free or low-cost legal help for immigrants. Do not navigate a complicated bank situation alone if you feel confused. Now, there is one more legal protection I want you to know about because it is very powerful and most immigrants are completely unaware of it. Even if a bank closes your account, for any reason at all, they are legally required to return your money to you. They cannot keep it. The funds in your account are yours. A bank closure is stressful and disruptive, but it is not the end of the world because your money is protected. Now I want to talk about something that may seem separate from all of this, but is actually deeply connected to your financial safety and your future in America. I want to talk about your credit score. If you just arrived in the United States, you have no credit score. You are what the financial system calls credit invisible. And I know that sounds scary, invisible, but I want you to understand something. Having no credit score is not the same as having a bad credit score. You are starting at zero, not at the bottom. Zero is completely fixable. In fact, thousands of immigrants build excellent credit scores within 12 months of arriving in this country. Your credit score in America is a number between 300 and 850. 300 is the worst. 850 is perfect. A score above 670 is considered good. Above 720 is very good. These numbers affect almost every part of your life in America. Whether you can rent an apartment, whether you qualify for a car loan, what interest rate you pay, even sometimes whether you can get a phone plan. The most important thing that builds your credit score, 65% of it, is simply paying your bills on time. Not the size of your payments, not how much money you make, just, do you pay what you owe when you owe it? That is the foundation. The second biggest factor is something called credit utilization. This means, if you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit, how much of that limit are you using? If you use $500, that is 50% utilization. The rule of thumb is to keep it below 30%. That tells the credit scoring system that you are responsible with money and do not rely too heavily on credit. The fastest way to start building credit from zero, and this works even if you have no social security number, is to get what is called a secured credit card. Here is how a secured card works. You give the bank a cash deposit, let's say $200 or $300, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. You then use the card for small purchases, groceries, a phone bill, something small, and you pay it off completely every single month. The bank reports your on-time payments to the credit bureaus, and your score starts to build. It sounds simple because it is simple. The trick is consistency. Pay it on time every month without fail. Do not miss a single payment. Set up auto pay if you need to. After 6 months to a year of doing this, you will have a real credit score, and you will qualify for much better financial products. And here is one more tip that is especially powerful in 2026. There is a newer credit scoring system called VantageScore 4.0 that was approved for major loan decisions last year. This system is different from the traditional credit scoring method in one very important way. It counts your rent payments and utility bills toward your credit score. If you pay your rent on time every month, you can get credit for that, but only if you sign up for a rent reporting service. Services like Rental Karma or Rent Reporters take your payment history and send it to the credit bureaus. This is one of the fastest and most underused ways for immigrants to build credit because you are probably already paying rent. You just are not getting credit for it. Let me now give you a quick comparison because I want you to see clearly what your financial life looks like before and after you build your credit. Before you have credit, life in America is harder and more expensive. Landlords reject your rental application or demand 2 or 3 months of deposit up front. Car loans come with interest rates of 18 to 25%, which means you pay back almost double what you borrowed. You can only get a secured credit card, meaning you are using your own money. Phone companies ask for large deposits or put you on expensive prepaid plans. After you build a good credit score, say 700 or above, the same country feels completely different. Landlords approve you easily with a normal deposit. Car loans drop to 5 or 6% interest. You qualify for rewards credit cards that give you cash back and travel miles. You get approved for personal loans at fair rates. Doors open that were previously locked. That transformation does not take 10 years. It does not even take 5 years. With the right strategy, many immigrants reach a solid credit score within 12 months. The key is starting today. Every month you wait is a month of credit history you cannot get back. Let me bring everything together now with a simple action plan. These are the things you should do, in order, starting right now. The first thing, make sure your identity documents at your bank are up to date. If your passport has expired, or if the address on your bank account is old, update it now. An expired document on file is the #1 reason banks send those scary document request letters. Something as simple as updating your address can prevent a lot of unnecessary stress. The second thing, if you do not have an ITIN yet, start the application process. You can get the W-7 form from the IRS website. It takes 7 to 11 weeks, but once you have it, so many financial doors open for you. The third thing, if you do not have a bank account yet, open one this week. Call ahead, bring your passport and proof of address, ask about fee waivers, and choose an account with no overdraft fees if possible. Wells Fargo's Clear Access account, Bank of America's Safe Balance account, and Capital One's 360 checking account are all good options for immigrants and students. The fourth thing, apply for a secured credit card. You can do this at the same time you open your bank account or shortly after. Start building your credit history immediately. Even a small secured card with a $200 limit is enough to start. The fifth thing, if you are paying rent, sign up for a rent reporting service. This is free money in terms of credit building. You are already paying rent, you might as well get credit for it. And the sixth thing, do not panic, withdraw your money. Keep your account behaving normally. Update your documents. Know your rights. And if your bank contacts you, respond calmly with identity documents only. I want to leave you with this. The American financial system can feel overwhelming, especially when the news is scary and confusing. But the people who succeed here, the immigrants who build real financial stability, are the ones who learn the system, understand their rights, and take calm, steady action even when things feel uncertain. You have more rights than you think. Your money is protected by law. Your ITIN is valid. Your account is not going to be closed tomorrow. And every step you take today, opening an account, starting your credit, learning how fees work, puts you in a stronger position than you were yesterday. If this video helped you, please share it with someone in your community who needs to hear it. Because there are a lot of scared immigrants right now who just need someone to explain this clearly. Be that person for them. Share this video. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every single one. This community helps each other, and I will see you in the next video.